In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a real estate community-focused email newsletter with Flodesk. I'm also going to share with you a special gift, so please stay tuned to the very end. But if you're new here, my name is Laressa Ngoeun, aka La to the R-E-S-S-A, and this is a place on the internet where I help fellow real estate brothers and sisters keep it real estate so you can become that real estate agent. So if that sounds like your vibe, then please hit subscribe. Now, as a disclaimer, I am an affiliate with Flodesk, so I do have a special link in the description box down below where you can sign up and get 50% off your first year with Flodesk, which is amazing. Before we begin, there are some disclaimers I want to make in regards to us being in real estate and using Flodesk. Now, we walk the very fine line of users that can use Flodesk, so we're not allowed to promote any of our real estate listings, commercial, residential, rentals, nothing for sale, nothing for rent, as that can be flagged as spam. And quite honestly, you shouldn't be spamming people with your listings anyways. It's not a very good marketing practice. But I understand if this makes you feel that you can't use Flodesk, or it prohibits you or inhibits you from wanting to use Flodesk. I completely understand. I recommend Flodesk as an additional platform or software in conjunction with your real estate CRM of choice, your customer relationship management system, as I find that Flodesk is very user-friendly and it's just so easy to make beautiful email campaigns with this software. Now, I'm going to show you what my email newsletter template looks like, and again, I will mention that I will link this article in the description box down below, so check it out. Now, this is my example of a real estate newsletter. It's called The Local Lens, your guide to local life events and real estate. You are very welcome to steal that as well. So in this case, I have just highlighted a small business. I am highlighting events that I would attend, and then the bottom section here is where you would plug in your real estate information of choice. Whether you are on YouTube or you have a real estate blog, this is where you can insert that piece of real estate content, and that's pretty much that. Very simple, but a very beautiful email newsletter with Flodesk. Now, before you can really begin to create a very successful real estate email newsletter, you obviously need people to be in your email database. So in a previous tutorial on my channel, this one here, I show you how to create a real estate lead magnet with Flodesk. So by gathering people's emails and names, you can tell Flodesk to automatically send out your PDF of your buyer or seller guide to then help you build up an email list over time. So definitely check out that video first before you watch this video. Okay, so with that all said, let's head into Flodesk. So here we are on just the main dashboard. I'm just sitting in emails. Typically what I like to do is to create a new folder, as this is a new genre of content for me. So I go into folders and I create a new folder here, and I'm going to call this test email newsletter. And I think I already did that down here, but I'm going to just hit next. And I'm going to skip, and actually I'm going to delete this one here. We don't need that. Yes, delete. And I'm going to open up this new folder here. And this is where we can create a template of our email newsletter so that every week or bi-monthly or just monthly, we can just come in here and just duplicate our template so we don't have to make it from scratch. So go ahead and click new email. And as you can see here, there are a bunch of different templates that you can start off with, but I find that starting from scratch is just a lot more easier for me. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Test newsletter email, and just hit save. So this is what your basic template would look like. I should have mentioned in the beginning that if you go to Flodesk up here, I'm going to open this up in a new tab. If you go to Flodesk and you go to your icon here and go down to branding, this is where you would want to put in your logo and brand colors. Now this again is just a GIF of my face, my different logos. It's a great way to consolidate all of that kind of information if you have a personal logo and a real estate brokerage logo. This is just again an email Gmail GIF that I used. So if you want to learn how to use and create this, I have a tutorial down in the description box down below, which I will link, of exactly how to create this rotating logo GIF. So let's go back into our newsletter here. And this is where we are going to be building out our wonderful, fabulous, community-focused email newsletter. No real estate listings at all, because the point of this is to basically be the digital mayor of your local community, so that you are the in the know person, that you know everything that's going on, and you know all the businesses, this, that, and the other. Okay, so what I recommend in this case is to name your email newsletter. I actually asked ChatGPT of some quirky fun names for a real estate email newsletter. I will insert the screenshot on screen. So choose any of these, make a combination of them if you want to, or don't use them at all. But I just thought that these are pretty good prompts that I got from ChatGPT. So good job, ChatGPT. Now to begin this, what we are going to do is put the name of our email newsletter. So I'm going to click on this button here, and it's going to open up this menu, but I want to click on, this plus button. And if you go into here, layouts, you'll see that we have a bunch of layouts to design with, but typically in order to get what's called the fancy font, you have to go into your layouts and then you have to find this specific layout, add some beautiful text with a custom font. This will allow you to use the custom fonts, because if you just use a regular text box, you can't use the other fancy fonts for some reason. I don't really know why. But in this case, I'm going to call this the local lens, your guide to local events, businesses, and real estate. Something like that. Again, you can go in and just change the font. You can change the weight of the font. You can absolutely go in and change it to a completely different font, but I will save you the time. Underneath, I'm going to create basically a header. So in this case, I'm going to use a text box. Get rid of all this. And I'm going to just name this April edition. I do have my caps on, by the way. And then at this point, click on your box, which we are already selected on that. If we go to block here, to background, we can give this a filled color. So I'm going to go with the gray. And then, oops. And if you wanted to undo, there's also these undo buttons down here. Give me a second, my mouse. Here, these undo and redo buttons. And then go into fonts. And typically with this, I like to make this bolded or not bolded, totally up to you. But I like to go into the spacing, and I like to just expand it a little bit. I think I lied about the bolding it, so I'm going to do that. And for this, I'm just going to break it down into 3 different segments or columns. So you choose your segments of what you want to do. I wouldn't do anything more than 4 different kind of columns or genres of information, because I think that's kind of overkill. I'm just going to keep it really basic and simple with the business highlight, community events, and then your real estate content. So to make things really easy, I'm just going to go in and duplicate this, push this down here. I'm going to duplicate another one, and I'm going to call this Biz Spotlight. And this is where you would obviously feature people from your community. Underneath is going to be events, and underneath here is going to be real conversations. You are very welcome to steal all this. So in this case, I'm going to go underneath here and use spacers. So I highly recommend adding spaces to your newsletter in order to just make sure that we utilize a nice seamless flow. So I'm going to click underneath here, and this is where we're going to use our first layout. So in this case, I'm going to just click again this layouts here, and again you have a bunch of different options to choose from. Typically these ones. Which one did I use? Let's see here. One that has a nice photo. Like these ones are nice. Like these ones are cute. This one is cute too, but I want one that has a button. Yes, this one. This one. click that. And obviously this is where you would put in the photo. You would just click here and then just upload it. Actually upload a picture from that specific business. And then if you click here, you can change again the different font, obviously change out the text. But down here, this is where you can create your button. So in regards to your buttons, I would make sure that every button on your newsletter looks the same. That way people know it's a clickable button. So in this case, I just like to keep mine really simple. I'm going to make it black. I'm going to go into the fonts up here so I can change the font color so it's not black. Make it white. And then to change that, you would just go ahead and click here, like put your cursor there, oops. And I would say follow them. And then you would just go to the link here and just insert their Instagram or their website or just to push traffic to their site. So that's where you would put that. And then underneath here, I would click here in between those two spacers. And again, I would also use a layout. So for this particular column for events, I like to use something that's like this, that has a picture on the side, again always has that button. But if we scroll down, there are a few that I very much enjoy and like. So this one's also good too. So I'm going to click this one for fun because it's a circle. You can also change out the picture the picture to a circle or a square or a rectangle, whatever you like. I think a circle is nice. And then if we hit the block here, we can actually change the background. You can actually remove it, just make it transparent so it looks like that, which I think is very nice. Typically what I would do is I would duplicate this and then I would make sure you're clicked onto that box there and then go to block. And then what's nice about this is you have the opportunity to flip it. So you can make it look teeter-tottering, if that's the right word, so that it just makes your email newsletter look aesthetic. Yes, that's the word. And again, I would just click here and then just do that. So you have a bunch of different events, which again, I recommend that you are shouting out events that you are going to attend. Now, with this particular layout, the clickable link is this get 'em here, this here. It's not necessarily a button like this, which is fine, because typically speaking, when you hyperlink this here and go to link, what happens is that no matter if they click this area, this box, or this picture, all of this stuff will be hyperlinked with the same link, which is very nice, very convenient. So again, this is where you would just highlight the events. I probably wouldn't put more than 5 because I feel like it makes your newsletter too long and too much. So again, just keep it very minimal. And then next underneath, I would insert a text box to kind of preface what piece of real estate content you are going to be putting in here. So again, if you are using YouTube as a way for lead generation, this is where you can embed your YouTube video. So if I click here, you can go into, I believe it's a video, and you can embed either a YouTube video or a Vimeo video. So I'm just going to grab this URL here and go back into, this one, and then just paste that link in there. And then it should pull that thumbnail from the video, which is very nice. Now you can put text down here if you wanted to, but it's kind of hard to read and we can't put a background on there for some reason. So in this case, I'll just go to block and I just will toggle this off. And for this button here, if you click on it, you can actually change the fill color. I just make it to this red color so it's just cohesive with YouTube. And then that's pretty much it. And then at the bottom here, you can just put in your information. Let me just click this up here, maybe delete this spacer. But typically at the bottom, this is where I would put in, if you wanted to, your Instagram feed. So if you click this button here, you can see Instagram. Now, if your Instagram is not connected yet, you would just click on this button and then it will prompt you to log into Instagram. But in this case, I've already done that. And it's just pulling the first 3 pictures from your feed. Obviously, I haven't posted in a hot minute, so it's still New Year's stuff. but there you go. And then this here is the social block. So if you click on here and go into your links and then manage link accounts, you can basically log into all of the accounts that you are using, and then it will create your social links down here. But typically speaking, what I tend to prefer is just pushing traffic to my Linktree. So I do have a whole separate tutorial on how to use Linktree for real estate, which I will link in the cards above and in the description box down below, because there is a specific way you need to make sure you optimize your Linktree account. But I would just push people there, and again, make sure that your button looks cohesive with all the buttons on your page there. Then if we click here on here, we can say my website like that, and then this is where you would go and put your link up here. Linktree. There we go. And again, you can totally remove this if you wanted to, but that's kind of the whole premise of this. Now down here is your footer block. Now if you click on this and go into messages here, you can choose among the fun messages that Flodesk has for you. I think this one is fun. Breakups are hard. We'll likely overthink it. If you really want to go by Felicia on us, you can unsubscribe or manage preferences. You should know we'll still love you. Fact. So that is basically what this email newsletter would look like in a very quick nutshell. You can also go in here and add an additional spacer if you wanted to, just to give it more room. If you just pull this up here, you can reduce the spacing, just so again, it flows very nicely. I probably would just make this a little bit bigger, something like that. And I believe you can put in emojis. So for our Mac users, Command Control Space, you can open up your emoji keyboard and just do that if you wanted to. I don't know, I'm just having fun, but you can just all make it text-based just like that. Maybe here, the local lens. You have fun with it. So you can also see a preview of your email newsletter in the desktop here. This is what it would look like. And then if you go over here, you can see it in a mobile view, just like that. And then let's go back to editing. Now at this point, there are a couple things that you can do. We can send a test message by just clicking on this and then put your email in here so it goes directly to your inbox. And then from there, I would just make sure to check that all of the links are clickable and that they're going to the right URL. Second thing that we can do here is to actually create a template of this particular email newsletter. So if you click the heart here, you can save to favorites. Now, email, newsletter, real estate. And when you do that, click save. You can also give a description just so you know what it is for, but I think the name is enough. So that way, when you are going to create a new email newsletter for that week, that month, you don't have to start from scratch. You just take your template and then just change out all of this information here. So at that point, you're probably wondering, where do I find my template or my saved favorite? So let's go into another Flodesk tab here. It'll go back into Flodesk. And then typically what I would do, let's say we are doing a new email newsletter, I would go into that folder, go into here, which is the folder we created at the beginning of this tutorial, hit view. Now you can either just duplicate this here, hit those three dots and just duplicate from here, or go to new email. And if you go to here, here, favorites, this is where your test email newsletter real estate would be. Click view details and then hit customize, and then this will create a new separate template. Now, with that out of the way, let's go back to our other template here. At this point, we have chosen our template, which is from scratch. We've designed our email, and now we need to choose our audience. So we're going to go to next. And typically, I would just, now this is just pulling out the default sender email, so just hit continue. That's all good. Now, obviously, you want to go in and change your subject line. So I would go in and put an emoji in the local lens April edition. All right. And then you can put in a preview of this as well if you wanted to. I just typically leave that blank. I'm going to hit continue. And at this point, you want to choose your recipients. So I'm just going to add the segment, which in this case is just going to be all subscribers. And if you wanted to, you can exclude certain people who have different tags. But I'm going to save you the time. I'm just going to hit save here. At this point, we are going to hit continue. And from here, we can either send this email right away, or we can schedule it out, or we can also send a test from this menu as well. Typically, I like to always schedule my email, so I would go to later and then choose your day, choose a time. So you can choose a custom time, or you can choose, best time for morning, afternoon, or evening. Typically, I would do something in the morning or at set time at like 7 a.m. And then once you do that, just hit save, and then I'll say we'll schedule your email for Thursday, April 18th at 7 a.m. and then your time zone, and then you would just hit schedule, and that will be in the queue to send out. If you made it to this point of the video, then please comment down below #NCrew so I know you are a real one. And because you made it to this point of the video, I do have a very special gift for you, which is this. I am now able to share email templates on Flodesk. So if you want my specific email newsletter template, then you can find the link in the description box down below to get access to this link, so you can then copy this template to your Flodesk workspace. And if you want to learn more about Flodesk, then I highly recommend you check out this video right over here, which is how to create a real estate lead magnet with Flodesk and Canva website, so you can start to build up your email newsletter. So if you're ready, then get ready to click in 3, 2, 1.